Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night News with GoIndieNow. It is January 2021. We made it. New year. Woohoo! I am your host, Joe Compton, and this is my co-host.
As always, Katie SALIDAS.
Hello, everybody. So we are here, and we've got a lot to get to, so we're just going to jump right into it with our top story tonight, which is for people who don't know, the stimulus package included something that was very important to artists, and it was called Save Our Stages. It was a hashtag movement, as you see there, and it was a initiative that was originally brought about by Senators Amy Klobuchar and John Cornyn. Introduced this back in July, earmarking $10 million for venue owners, promoters, and industry professionals to put toward the rent, utilities, mortgage, PP&E, and other costs. Then an additional $5 billion was added later for cultural institutions such as museums and cinemas. NIVA, which is the National Independent Venue Association, was the one propelling and the one behind this movement, aligning with big bands like Foo Fighters, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Willie Nelson, and their mission was to preserve and nurture the ecosystem of the independent venues and promoters throughout the United States. NIVA's statement in this regard was these entertainment hubs are critical to their local economies and tax bases as employers, tourism destinations, and revenue generators for neighboring businesses such as restaurants, hotels, and retail. Independent venues exist in every state across the country, and they will be the first to close and be the last to open. The economic recovery process, which extends past just reopening the front doors, requires solutions unique to their industry. Not part of this package, however, is independent bookstores. For those of you who are wondering, they are not part of the allotment because they're deemed a retail establishment, and there are a number of provisional elements within the stimulus package that provide allotments for small businesses and to generate retail influx, and that would include our independent bookstores or independent comic stores and record stores and all of that. There is some opposition to Save Our Stages, believe it or not, and it is more of a cautionary, opposition, not a full-on, I'm against this kind of thing, and that was presented by Michael Strickland, who is the owner of Bandit Lights, a lighting company out of Knoxville, Tennessee, who's become the face of this movement. And he's fiercely advocating for the industry, sending out daily updates on progress and challenges facing the industry. And he even met on Capitol Hill with senators and congressional representatives on December 15th, testified in a hearing entitled Examining the Impact of COVID-19 on Live Event Entertainment Industry. Overseen by the Subcommittee on Manufacturing, Trade, and Consumer Protection, in which he spoke of needing this entire live industry to thrive. He believes that the bill itself only provides cover for independent venues, promoters, managers, and it only makes up a small portion of the live industry that it needs to be protected and harnessed from this. He told Pollster that the majority of live event operators, promoters, talent reps, and production companies don't even qualify for Save Our Stages aid. This is primarily because the bill denies aid to independent contractors as well as businesses which meet any of the following criteria: that they're a publicly traded company, have offices in more than one country, have 500 or more employees, receive 10% or more funding from the federal government, which now can receive funding if a majority of bookings are performances, or have offices that are in more than 10 states. Now, also a part of this, small dissent is hashtag Arts Hero, and they're acknowledging that Save Our Stages is a starting point, that it's a historic piece of legislation representing a seismic shift in the conversation at the federal level about the socio-economic value of arts and cultures. It agrees that there's much more work to be done and funding needed to bring relief to arts and its workers, and several who have been impacted by the closures of these live performance venues. This win must be recognized as a beginning, not a conclusion, to the long road ahead for relief and recovery. We urge the Biden administration to move swiftly to create additional relief legislation to address financial crises facing the millions of Americans who have been catastrophically impacted by COVID-19, including our live event folks. That is more of the union side of things. My major thought process in reading all this and being a part of this was that the independent musician, the ones that really benefit quite greatly from this opportunities, are the ones that have not been able to recover, financially, because this is what they built their livelihood on, is going to venue or playing a regular gig at a smaller venue, a venue that is much more than just a coffee shop or a bar. These venues house thousands of people, and even if they are opening acts for bigger acts, like the Foo Fighters, for example, they still make a good portion of money from doing that. And because they're local, they add that local flair to the billing, to the catered bill that is on the marquee, and that helps drive local folks. It helps drive bigger names. It does all of those things. So this is a really important thing going. Now, a lot of this is really built upon Broadway, and Broadway being shut down, especially the lower independent theaters that are on the fringes of Broadway. And so this is really, and New York was very, very impacted and hit hard by all this. And they were one of the first, set of venues to shut down. So this is really trying to get that economy going again, which, of course, with these opportunities comes more jobs and more creation of jobs and more independent contractors getting things. But does the independent musician ultimately have an opportunity with this? That's yet to be seen, because it's such a minuscule amount, right? So
yeah, the smaller you are, the less chance you're going to have at getting any kind of supplemental funding. And a lot of artists are unfortunately not going to continue on after this. The pandemic has destroyed a lot of what we know as normal, and even going beyond just the artistry, small businesses, mom and pop shops, restaurants, everything that is too small to be able to get help is falling by the wayside right now. It's such a sad time.
And getting people back to work at these venues, like the lighting techs, and the people don't realize how much goes into putting on a show at these venues, and what it means to them revenue wise, because it does cost a lot as well. But to get these people back and working means that ultimately the bands will come back and be able to do this. But there's going to be a lot less of a crowd there, because they have to follow strict guidelines of capacity and social distancing and things of that nature. So to even get prepared for this right now, it's a tough sell, and it's a really tough thing for independent musicians who are finding success online regardless, and doing home concerts and things of that nature has been a real benefit to them. But this is also a good step in the right direction. I think tonight our major theme is there's good steps in the right direction with a lot of things that we're talking about. Maybe not the next story we're going to talk about, but with everything else that we're kind of touching on today, there is a lot of hope out there, right? And it seems like this is another one of those hopeful things. This is really important though, because I think what this proves is that if we as a community band together, we're being heard by the people that make the laws, that give us the money. And I think, again, we're going to touch on another big giant that is kind of maybe not hearing us all the way, but at least giving us something. We'll talk a little, that's a little foreshadowing, a little tease for later. But, I think that's an important, why I think this story is very important in that regard is that as independent, contractors, as entrepreneurs, as people who are doing arts for a living, it does give hope that if you do fall by the wayside, that you have opportunity. And we had talked about this off air, Katie, but the communities that when the bookstores were flailing, when the comic book stores were flailing, our communities, the publishing communities of those industries, bandied about and made sure that there was a lot of coverage for those small mom and pop bookstores. So those have been able to not thrive, they've been able to survive a little bit more. So at least some of them, and they've also seen that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think now for this industry, for the music industry, this is the first sign of a light at the end of the tunnel. So
it's definitely something. How far reaching it's going to be, time will tell on that. But yeah, any help at this point is considered good help, but will it be enough in the long run? And when we come out of this on the other end, what is it going to look like when we do get back to our new sense of normal? Is it going to increase ticket prices? Are artists going to be able to demand more wages for their time? Like, how is it going to affect in the long run? That's going to be the interesting point.
Yeah, and I think again, I think time will tell, and I don't think this year is going to be any indication of how that's going to go. So, I mean, by the time venues start to reopen, we're talking probably months down the road. So it'll be, everybody's hoping for a summertime boom, but I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah, I know. It's hopeful, but at the rate we're going, at the rate vaccinations are happening, it's still looking like the end of 2021 before any sense of normalcy really returns.
Right. So if anybody is interested in learning more about what this movement was about, what you can do, how you can still be a part of it, if you're a musician and you're interested in how they can help you, which they can, you can go to their website, which is saveourstages.com. I have the link up in the description as well, so you can check that out. Everything we talk about here, all the links that we're going to talk about tonight are already in the description, so feel free to peruse those after the show and get all the information you need to get for that. Along those lines, we had something interesting happen in our book community, and it was hacking time. Oh boy.
That's right. Oh, unfortunately, NetGalley, which is one of the most popular digital services for ARC copy exchange, which is your advanced reader copies. That's how us authors get those advanced reviews. They suffered a data breach on December 21st, and it may have revealed some personal information. Now, what that personal information is general stuff, just names, the account information, the email, that kind of stuff. No financial information. So let me make that clear. No financial information was shared. However, names, numbers, birthdays, if you have your Kindle email address attached to it, that could have also been accessed. So it's definitely something you want to look into. The information that was exposed happened because their backup servers were hacked. Their backup servers are on the Amazon cloud system. So NetGalley has gone in, they have resecured their system, they have added new security protocols and changed how they do their backups. So this should not happen again. However, for those of you who do use NetGalley, you are advised right now to change your password for NetGalley. If your Amazon information is on there, you want to change your Amazon login as well. Make sure you use a good, strong password so that you can avoid any potential issues, and make sure your passwords are different on each website. Don't have the problem of one password for everything, because that gives hackers, once they've got it, all of your information. So as of right now, NetGalley says they are secured. Everything's good again. No financial information has been shared. It was just, the basics, name and all that. So go in, change your account password. Any associated accounts, change those passwords too, just to be on the safe side.
And if you have any questions regarding this, NetGalley had an email address that is, again, in the description, and you're welcome to use that and email them. They encourage you to do just that, and they encourage you that is the way to reach them, is by that email address. So definitely, if you feel like you're seeing something weird or have some glitch or something, and you're a frequenter on that site, I would definitely email them and let them take a look.
It seems like hacking is becoming so commonplace these days that we almost go, oh, again, okay. It's a sad fact, but it's become that way. And a lot of times now people are using these password storage and generators instead of having to change their password over and over again, because they're doing it so frequently that they just need something else to cover it. And that is a suggestion that NetGalley also made, is to use some kind of a, what is it, LifeLock, or Google has their own password keeper. So find something that you can use so that you don't have to constantly struggle with changing every single password.
Yeah.
Because that can be a pain.
I was telling Katie the other day, I use Bitdefender, and they have ways to secure everything so that you don't lose anything if somebody were to grab your phone or hack into your system or anything like that. They have fail safes that encourage you. So I mean, they're not a sponsor, so I'm not going to. I'll just say I just said their name, and that's all I'm going to do. So, but with this interesting idea, I think a lot of what they're fishing for is the Amazon information, and I think that they're trying to use that to make money off of it, because they know that the financial information is it's so encrypted, and it's a little bit deeper, and they wouldn't put that on a backup server. So I think if they had an intention and they went right after the backup server, I think they're trying to get the Amazon information. So I would definitely make sure that you check your Amazon accounts and make sure that there's not anything funny.
From personal experience, all a hacker needs is your email address, your phone number, and your name. And because of the way that everyone does two-factor authentication, that's enough to get into almost every one of your accounts. Yeah. So it's kind of scary how easy it is with just a few pieces of information. And I unfortunately had that happen to me a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Amazon, and as I mentioned, I foreshadowed a little bit earlier, Katie is doing back-to-back stories for us tonight, because I got Katie going strong.
And I get to finally give some good news for a change.
Yeah, talk about that Kindle challenge.
Yes, looking at the positive things that are going on right now, Amazon just launched the new Kindle challenge system, and this allows users to engage in quests and earn $5 in free ebook credits. So the way this works is you earn badges for using your Kindle. It's kind of a gamification of reading and encouraging people to use their Kindle device, read more books. Kobo also has a similar system, but this is only available on the Kindle, and it's only available in the US right now, and it's still a limited run. So not everyone in the US is going to have access to it yet. You'll have to check your account in order to see if you qualify. But the way this works is the badges will revolve every month, and they're designed to encourage reading. So they dangle the carrot of that $5 credit in your face to get you to work with your Kindle. Some of the challenges that you get are setting a reading goal and meeting that reading goal, following an author, borrowing a book, reading for X number of days, 7 days, 15 days, 30 days. So by meeting these challenges, and you can see on the graphic here, the little diamond-shaped challenges, if you get 4 diamond shaped badges between the 1st and the 30th, 31st of the month, you qualify for that $5 credit, which will be delivered to your account. It'll be applied to it on the 15th of the following month. So every time you do these little challenges, you get an extra $5, which for indies who we priced our books a little bit lower, a little bit easier to afford, that could be a couple of new books on your Kindle just for following these challenges. So it's a really good system.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be kind of popular. I think a lot of indies are going to pick up on this and try and promote it because, again, our books are usually a bit cheaper. So that $5 credit stretches a lot further.
Yeah. And it does not qualify for Kindle Unlimited, right? It's only for just the
general titles right now. And it is a brand new system. So they could add these options later. I went to check and see if I qualified. I unfortunately do not, so I don't get to play. But Joe, you said you signed up for it. You were able to sign up?
Yeah. And they let me in. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm probably not the guy that would win a lot of those badges, but hey, look, I think I think they base it a lot on your buying history too. So I mean, I buy a lot of indie books, so. But I think the one thing you mentioned, this is a good thing for indies as well. But I also think that this is a good thing for indies within newsletters and within promotional. If you're doing like I know people don't do book tours anymore, or people don't do Facebook parties anymore. But if you were to do something like that, this would be a good little tidbit to put in there. Hey, look, go get your diamond fan, thing by liking my profile, like following my profile, because that's one of the things. You can go follow a bunch of artists and a bunch of indies and do that. Obviously, Amazon's doing this for self-serving reasons, to get more people to use the Kindle and make that their main source, and beat up Kobo and the Nook, which I think they've already destroyed the Nook. But that's really what this is to drive more people to the Kindle. But there is an underlying, I'm going to say it, that the big bad has done something really nice here, and I think there's an underlying thing for their advocacy for literacy in this regard. I think this is a really cool thing. I think kids will really gravitate toward. I think the YA industry is already thriving. It's going to thrive even more with something like this. I think the romance industry probably will take a lot of good advantage of this idea. But I think that anything that's encouraging people to read more, I think is a really, really good thing, even if it's from the evil fodder that we've known as Amazon, which again, I'm foreshadowing a little bit of their sinisterness coming up that we'll be talking about. But it is also a little bit more transparent than they've been in the past. I mean, there's a lot of good explanation. I could read you the email that's probably about, if I printed it out, about 10 pages long on how this thing runs that I got from signing up for it. So there is a lot of instruction to it. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's obviously to their benefit, so they're going to have more instruction, but I mean,
they're going to make their money off of it too. I mean, think about it. It promotes Kindle use. Yeah. So that means people are going to have to buy books on their Kindle, which goes into Amazon's pocket. Any of the books that are gifted through this credit don't really cost Amazon much because, depending on what books are bought, indies only get 35 to 70% of royalties. So it's not, retail price that Amazon's actually giving you. But it's still a good thing. You're right. It does promote literacy, and anything that promotes reading is a beautiful thing. So I think it's worth jumping on. It's worth promoting. Getting a badge for following an author, that's something indies will definitely take advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good one. That's an easy one to do right off the bat, right? And so, you can go up in tiers too. So if you've completed a diamond tier, then they can give you some, a little bit more tier, and you do this every month. It's not and it's not, you can't follow the same person. Once you follow a person, you can't, follow the same person again. So you're going to have to do it with somebody else, So yeah,
there
I think
are
that's
thousands upon thousands.
right. Yeah. So I think this is a thing that I think a lot of indies could take a great deal of advantage from. And something else I think a lot of indies can take advantage from is CL Cannon's marketing tip, and we've got a really good one for you this month. It's a follow up to an older tip that if you were watching our flagship show back in the day, you'll recognize. She even mentions it. But here's CL Cannon with the marketing tip, and then we'll be back with your comments. I have the results of the survey that you all helped me fill out, which I'm really appreciative of. And then we'll have some updates on some things that we've talked about in the past. So enjoy.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another monthly marketing tip. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've actually already talked about in the past, but I found a better way to do it. In one of my previous videos, I told you guys about FuseLink and about Linktree and how those are really good for putting in your Instagram bio or pretty much anywhere else on your social medias, like your Twitter bio or anywhere where you've got a little bit of space to share a lot of information. So today I found actually a better alternative called LNK.bio. So it's like link in bio, which is what everybody says on Instagram anyways. They'll, make a post and say, the link is in the bio. So they've actually just used that name, which is actually really smart. So what I like about this one is, FuseLink and Linktree, they have different options. They've got paid options and they've got regular options, but they've only kind of got like 2 tiers. This one actually has 4 tiers that you can choose from with a lot of different customizations. But I found this one just to look a lot nicer. And it's a lot more organized, and I am an organization freak, so I love being able to categorize things and stuff like that, which you can do with this link in bio. There are, like I said, there are 4 tiers. There's a free tier, but you get a random URL. But you do get unlimited links on every single tier, so you don't have to be restrained by cost on that. There's also a 99-cent a month tier. You get a custom URL with that one. You can schedule links, which means like if something, like if you're running a giveaway, like I do a lot, or if you have something that's time sensitive, you can schedule that link to disappear after a certain point, so you don't have to go back and take it out, because I know I've done that before. I've had lots of giveaways in my bio section that probably ended like a month ago because I forgot to go in there and clean them out. So this one you can just set when the giveaway ends or when the promotion ends, and it'll just disappear from your bio and you won't have to worry about it. They also have Instagram sync, which means your Instagram posts will show up there. They've got link tracking, they've got stats, they can analytics with your pixel. You can put your own pixel in there. And that's on the 99-cent tier that's monthly, but it's also on a one-time tier where you only have to pay $9.99 for life. And that's the one I actually chose because I wanted to have my own custom URL. I wanted to have the scheduled links and things like that. You can actually also put a YouTube video in there, which I thought was really cool. No, the customization is just a lot better, I think, than Linktree or FuseLink. There's also a one-time tier that's $24.99, and for that one you can change the colors, and you get everything that was in the other tier. You can change your colors. There's no logo for link and bio, and there you can change your background image. Those things were not that important to me, so I just stuck with the $9.99 tier, and so far I'm really loving it. I will show you guys a screenshot of mine. And I'll put it up on the screen for you. It is really simple and easy. They have a tiered system inside there where you can choose, you can put all your social media with icons at the top, or you can actually put it at the bottom, wherever you want it. Contact information like your email or even your messenger. You can put that at the top or the bottom. They let you, decide what style you want to use on that. There's a couple different styles. There's circular styles. There's some more that are square, rounded. There's like a grid style, all kinds of different ways that you can display your information. I like it because it has a thing that's like subgroups. So if I want to put my books up there, after a while, after you've written so many books, you have a lot of links for people to look through. Well, I can just put one thing up there that says my books, and they can, it then categorizes that. And every link under that is for my books. And I have one that's for Fiction Atlas, and, you know, and for authors and things, I've got a section for that. And then I've also got a section that's like my favorite links that has stuff like my street team Earl or joining my newsletter. And you can categorize that in any way that you want to. And I think it just makes it look a lot more cleaner and more organized. Like I said, I'm an organization freak, so I just really love this interface and how easy it is to use. It's just drag and drop where you want things to be. You can use your own custom image for every link. You can do that by uploading an image, or you can use the URL that you have of the image. So that makes it really easy and versatile to be able to change it. It looks great on mobile. It looks great on desktop, and you can actually change how it looks on desktop and how it looks on mobile, and it can be different for each one if you want, or you can make it the same. It you know, it's just all up to you. And I think that's what makes this one so much more powerful is you have the choice to put anything exactly where you want it, and it makes it all nice and neat. And I really appreciate that. There's also a bio section at the top, and you can, you know, write your own biography, and it's not really constrained to the tiny biography that they give you on Instagram and Twitter. You can put a lot of information there if you want to. Basically, I think you guys should try it out. And it helps really get over that link hurdle of Instagram where you can't put any links in your descriptions. So it's an easy way for people to get information from you that is relevant and especially time sensitive. And I just love the design. I can't say enough about the design and how cool it is to be able to organize everything. So that's my marketing tip today, that you should check out link.bio. Again, it's lnk.bio to get that on your Instagram or on your Twitter or your TikTok or wherever you're going to be, you know, sharing your contact information. And that's it for me. As always, if you've got any questions, you can always email me at info@fiction-atlas.com. You can also message me on Facebook, or Facebook's probably the best place to message me. But I hope this helps you guys. I hope you check it out. Let me know if you do.
I was just thinking, it's so rare that we get a CL Cannon marketing tip or any video where she's recording at night in her car. So she's in the daytime. So
that's become her brand, and I love that.
Right.
I absolutely love it.
Well, it's the only place she can get peace and quiet. So, you know,
as a mom, I get that. I totally get that.
That was a great tip. I've checked it out. I've played with it a little bit. It's a pretty awesome place. I really think, yeah, it's taking Linktree and just upping the stakes, basically, and it's really cool. I think everybody should check that out for sure. And thanks to CL Cannon, as always, for that. And she'll be back every month to do that for us. So we're real excited about that. The chat's a little quiet tonight, but that's okay. You know, obviously, because, you know, we have to find our Renaissance assassins on Pinterest. So, I mean, you know, that's priority, right? I mean, that takes priority. I hope, Anita, you're getting all your assassins and everything that you can out of that. That's awesome. You know, and Rebecca Jonesy joins us. She says internet security is not being taken seriously. I totally agree. I think it's one of those things, right, that people either think it's kind of a conspiracy or it's not a conspiracy. But, you know, it's real. Trust me, it's real. And then, you know, Rebecca Jones says revel in author tears, reader tears. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome. And Katie Solaris even commented from the chat. Hey, look at that.
I like that marketing tip. I've always said she does the best tips and she knows what she's doing when it comes to marketing. So I'm going to be checking that out after the show.
Well, speaking of marketing, we created a survey earlier in the month, toward the end of last month. And I wanted to know how your 2020 went. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there about how books have made a comeback and things have made a comeback, and how, we've been able to sell a little bit more. We've been a little bit more online, and it's been a little bit fresher and all of that. But I wanted to get it from the people that are frequent here, and people that are on our shows, who are watching, who end up watching. So thank you so much if you did do our 8-question survey, and we're going to go over each of them here. But this is our 2020 survey, and these are your responses. And virtually almost every single person that took this poll, who did this survey, did create something in 2020, which is good news, and finished it. Wow. I was surprised by that. I don't know if people read that all the way through, but yeah, I mean, I created something new and finished it in 2020. So yeah, I think that's pretty impressive that we were all able to do that, given the circumstances and how quickly this escalated, and we weren't prepared for it, right, Katie? So
and for those that didn't finish, that's not a negative. That just means that they started a project, they were inspired to do something, they just haven't got to the end yet, which is just fine.
And there are plenty of those that I have out there. I can tell you that I started something and haven't finished it yet. It's going into 2021 for sure. The other part of this question was, did you release anything new in 2020? And it was, again, majority of people did. There was a few that didn't. But I think that shows shows are aware about us as indies. Hey, look, not only are we savvy enough to create something, complete it, but we're going to put it out there when we do. We're not afraid of that. And that's good news. I'm glad to see that this one was the majority of what it was. Did you have anything to add to that one, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the numbers there, that's a really good response to publishing. And again, for the ones that didn't, we don't know what the circumstances are. It could be that they submitted it and it just hasn't been published yet. It could be that they're in that 3-month marketing lead time that we generally suggest between finishing and publishing, so they can get the excitement out. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't ready to send it out. Maybe they're still waiting for the right time to send it out.
And Katie says publishing as part of the book thing, but I should mention that I had other musicians and filmmakers fill this out as well. So and for them to put stuff out, especially filmmakers, to create something new and put it out, that's pretty impressive in that time period, because that was kind of a concern. I mean, because those mediums usually need outside services. You need a studio to record in. You need to do, you need a place to edit. You need to film stuff. You need to go out and film stuff if you're a filmmaker. So if you release something, that means you completed something. And a lot of times with film too, that usually means you probably filmed it in 2018 or 2019 and now just putting it out there. So, which is good.
Oh, that's a long lead time.
Oh yeah, they can take that. There's films that are 5 years in the making. I mean, a lot of those Pixar films, they go pixel by pixel. So that takes a lot of those films take 5 to 10 years to make. So, all right. So then the third part of the survey was how our sales on everything, your entire catalog, not just the 2020 releases this year. And surprisingly, I think this is the one that really surprised me the most. Most people said they were about the same, which I think on every given year, that's probably going to be the majority winner. But the better than was as equal to, or even just a little bit better than the worse than, and then, there's always the worse than any year and better than every year. And those got a little bit of play, but not as much. But the worst than 2019 was 10 people said that they were worse than 2019, and 11 people said they were better than 2019. So it's kind of interesting how even that is. And like I said, about the same, I think, will win this survey every single year. I just think that a lot of people aim to break even, and I think that that's what a lot of people, that's their thought process, and it happens. So
Yeah. And there was also that big push at the beginning of the pandemic where a lot of indie artists were giving away stuff for free to help keep people calm and entertained. And that can also factor into your sales as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, yeah. And it goes along with what Katie was just saying into the next question, which is, where did you sell more? Was it physical media or online media? And virtually everybody went online. I mean, that's just the sign of this time, right? I mean, I was surprised that there was a few physical medias out that got onto this thing, but
Yeah, that is surprising. Yeah, most people went completely digital this year with just about everything.
But I do think the physical media thing was what you were talking about earlier, where there was a big push at the very beginning of the year, and I think a lot of people who had stuff on the back burner for 2019 to push out at the beginning of 2020 sold a lot more physical media. That's probably because at the beginning of 2020, you had something you were pushing out. And then toward the middle or the end of 2020, you were still creating something to push out. So that might have been skewed if you had pushed out more than one thing in 2020. But if you were like me, my book came out in March 2020, right before the pandemic. So although I would probably, all that was online. So, which, is often the case with indie books anyway, but most of my stuff was online. I did not attend any shows with my new book, so and there wasn't many shows to attend anyway, right? So if any.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very hard year for a lot of us who are used to getting out and doing those in-person sales.
Yeah. And then the fifth question I asked was, do you spend money on advertising? And again, 50-50 on this. I think that will always be the case here. I was surprised that yes won a little bit more than no, because we're always being told how bad it is out there in our economy and things like that. But this shows, what I think this shows is the initiative of the indie. The indie finds a way to claw and scrap and turn $2 into something successful, right? We don't need a lot behind the machine. Yes, it would be nice to have millions of dollars. Don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have thousands of dollars to put behind a machine and make it work. But we make what we typically can take a box of pasta and butter and make a good mac and cheese and some shredded cheese and make a good mac and cheese, right? That's just the way we're anchored. And I think this kind of reflects that in a sense. Because I guarantee you, I didn't ask how much they spent on marketing, but I guarantee you it was a small amount.
See, now I would take the opposite opinion. I think that indies who are becoming more savvy in their marketing aren't going to spend a lot on the marketing, but they're going to make those dollars count. So I would actually expect to see more people saying that, yes, they did spend some money on advertising versus the no, because as we've said many times before, you can have the best, most beautiful, best edited book out there, but if no one knows it's out there, they can't buy it. And to get in front of people, you sometimes have to spend a little money because there are so many books published daily.
Mm-hmm. And Josh Pentel-Oresco has joined us. He says marketing is an actually bigger deal in times like these. So, yeah, I would say the one thing that we always talk about with indies, right, before we go into the next couple ones, is that what is it that we always complain about? We don't have enough time. We don't have enough energy. We don't have, and this year we had enough time. We had enough energy. We didn't. Well, the energy part, we probably, the energy part. Sorry, I faux pas there. But the time bit we were in our pajamas most of the day. I mean, and yes, it took some getting used to. Yes, it took some adjusting, but I think that question also reflects a lot of that, because I think a lot of people were a little bit utilizing the time a little bit more effectively, in that respect.
And there are plenty of grassroots marketing efforts that you can do to get some word out about your book. And I think all indies should know these things and should employ these things first. But eventually, pushing, a couple dollars behind it becomes essential when you are in a flooded market. Those really big genres that are constantly seeing books published daily, the romance genres, the sci-fi genres, those are the ones where it's really hard to get your book in front of an audience. And sometimes the right money spent in the right place can make the difference.
And those are usually the genres that benefit from in-person sales and have a little bit more, because you're at a conference that is full of science fiction people, right? Yeah, you're with your people. You got your tribe there. Everybody's there for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and Josh, yes, you have the energy for all of us, so we appreciate that, brother. But going back to the survey question, I believe we're on question 6. Do you plan on releasing anything in 2021? And again, overwhelming 95% of the people surveyed here said yes. Not surprising. I think we always are planning to release something. Again, this goes along the lines of, I saw, actually, I put this question in there because I saw this question being asked and bandied about in a lot of the numbers that were being published about publishing and record sales too. I saw this on I think it was IndieWire about music taking a dive and people were finding ways to stream it for free or whatever, and record labels saying, you know what, we're going to quit the overhead and just produce singles because we don't want people stealing a bunch of stuff when we can't make our money out on the road for it. So the idea that people were slowing down and producing things was the kind of the message that was being sent there. And a lot of publishing houses, like, if you're a traditional published author, if you're Big Five especially, Macmillan has been closed, so they're not producing anything big unless they have the biggest name on their roster saying, I want to put out a book. So a lot of publishing houses are slowing down, even the indies. So I always find this interesting when this is skewed so much like it is, but it doesn't surprise me. Katie, you have anything to add to that?
Nope. I agree. It does not surprise me. That is, we expect creators to be creating.
Yeah, nice. So then I asked, what is your optimism level for physical sales opportunities? And I did this on kind of a tilted scale. And so the average, again, was above average, which is a 3.2, obviously 2.5. This is on a point scale of 5. So 2.5 would have been the median average. So it's a little bit above average. And as you can maybe see, a lot of people are looking at the second half or looking to make it happen no matter what. Really hope so, but not holding my breath was the overall winner. But they'll be ready regardless. So people are ready for it. I think we're all ready to get out and do these things. We were just talking about that. We want to get our con on, and I think we're all optimistic that we can do that within this year, but who knows?
I hope so.
We're all kind of bated breath with this one, right? Not many people were negative in this respect. I skewed it so that there wasn't a whole lot to be negative about, but in the way that you could answer this question. But I was curious, at what point do people think it's going to happen? And most people were saying the second half of 2021. So
that makes a lot of sense because, we said it earlier that we're still not recovering yet. It's going to take a while for the vaccines to get around. It's not going to be any time within the next 3 or 4 months. So even if it started, it would be late summer to early fall before we would actually see a lot of these in-person events start really coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So then the last question on the survey, I don't know why I can't click on it. That's weird. What is going on here? Weird.
The big reveal.
I don't know why it's not letting me click.
You gotta have a Murphy's Law moment in every show. I think that's kind of a requirement.
That's so weird. Come on. I don't know why it won't let me do that. That's so weird.
And I'm guessing it's probably the most important information of them all, right? It's the culmination of your grand research.
It turned out to be my internet. So I wasn't seeing it, but I was sorry about that. All right. So last question. As always, something, it wouldn't be the show without that, right?
That's right.
But okay, how much of your marketing plan is set for 2021? And this surprised me, actually, because I always feel like I've always got a plan, and I've always got a 5-year, a 1 year, 10-year. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just kind of waiting and seeing. It's, no plan at all was the overwhelming favorite, which is the 1-star rating, basically, of this group. So they're waiting to see how this year goes before they make any plans. That's interesting to me.
A lot of pantsers in this group. A lot of pantsers.
People, and there was some people who had some 3-month plans. Some people had a solid plan, but not sure if 2021 was going to be the one that they enacted it. So that's our survey. And I will put those out there eventually so everybody can take a look at them and dissect them any way you like, but that's how that goes. That being said, I do want to mention not a sponsor, but somebody who has something going on out there that might be of interest to some people if you want to spend a little money, and that is the Inkers Minicon, which is only $29, and you get 5 classes. The classes will include utilizing social media, creating an exciting brand on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Goodreads. I don't know why they include Goodreads. That's terrible. Hopefully somebody corrects that person, whoever's teaching that class. Builds characters your readers are dying to read. Maintain a healthy mindset. Write diverse characters. And improve your business by creating a business plan. Are you ready for more time, focus, and knowledge to help your books succeed? Inkers Minicon has 5 presentations from New York Times bestselling authors and industry experts that are focused on improving your writing and sales. They'll focus on providing the writing and marketing knowledge that can make a difference in your career. Their 2021 curriculum teaches unique methods to expand your readership base, build a solid brand, and increase your sales in a consistent and reliable fashion. So there you go. Everybody can check out the Inkers Minicon. I think it's worth it. I talked to the organizer about it. They're real excited about it. They're going to have a really good group of people, and they're going to have quite a bit of interaction. There's going to be opportunities for networking. So if you're looking for that kickstart that you need at the beginning of the year, this might be the first thing to get you going. So check them out. Go there. The link again is in the description for everybody to check out. And that is something that I'm proud to present. So as I am proud to present this show, and we did some stories last month, Katie, that I think have some really important updates. Although we will talk about one that we didn't do on this show. We talked about it on This Week in Indies, which it literally happened like 3 days after our show, which was kind of lame. How dare they? They didn't wait for our deadline, But we had an interesting thing happen with Amazon again. Amazon just can't get out of our way, can it?
No, when you're an indie, Amazon does kind of rule your life. And one of the biggest complaints that authors have had and that public libraries have had is that you cannot get an Amazon book in the library system. And for those of us who are authors, what's the biggest complaint we get from our readers? A lot of readers say they can't afford the books right now, but they really would love to read them. And what do we want to do? We want to send them to places where they can read our books at no cost to them or very low cost to them, so it becomes affordable and they can still share in the stories that we write. Well, a public advocacy group and libraries have been working to kind of push Amazon towards becoming available to the library system, which is wonderful. The Digital Public Libraries of America has been in talks with Amazon Publishing since about spring of 2020, even though we didn't get wind of it until much later. They've been talking since spring of 2020. They've got a few more details that need to be ironed out. But Michelle Kimpton, the Director of Business Development at the DPLA and Senior Strategist for them, says that she's confirmed this with Publishers Weekly, that Amazon titles may well be seen in libraries through the DPLA's exchange in early 2021. And hey, we're in 2021 now, so it could be right around the corner. Well, this is really good news. It is still in the early stages of the agreement, and the potential agreement as it stands right now does not include any KDP Select titles, any Kindle Unlimited titles, or Amazon Audible titles. So it's still very preliminary, and it's not going to include their entire library, but it's a good start, and it's something we could be seeing in the next couple of months. You're muted, Joe.
God, I'm terrible tonight. Sorry, everybody. I think it's a good start. I think it is something that's been needed, and I think it's going to. I think what it helps do is promote wide, which I think is, not a benefit as much as people might think to Amazon. But I do think that through Amazon going wide has always been kind of like lame. It hasn't been that's where Smashwords and Drafted Digital have really, really garnered that section of our business and of our industry and our community. Is they've really made going wide have potential, whereas going wide with Amazon only means that you can go to those other sites and utilize their tooling. So Amazon getting into this, they see value in it, and that might be troubling to those other places, Smashwords especially, but I do think there is still a lot of incentive to check out going wide through Drafted Digital and Smashwords. But this is a really good thing. I worry about how we're going to get screwed on the back end of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, the details have not been shared. And when I looked at the DPLA's website, I didn't see any future updates. Amazon, of course, has not put anything out about this. So it is still very much in the talking phase. I'm sure we'll hear as indies a little bit before it actually does go live what the structure will be for royalties when they go out to the libraries. Now, if you do use Smashwords or Drafted Digital, you know what your royalties are sharing with libraries. It's right there. It's very transparent. So until we hear from Amazon exactly what it's going to be, it's up to speculation. It is good news, though, that they might potentially be available to libraries, because that is one thing that Amazon has kind of strangleheld us on, is the exclusivity. And when we're exclusive, we don't have those options to share with our readers, especially those, and right now, those who are impacted, by the harsh economy right now and by job losses. They legitimately need entertainment and can't afford it. And we as authors want to be able to share that. And this is a way for us to do it. Check out the libraries. Yeah. So I'm hoping this will be more of a benefit, but we won't know details until they release them. And of course, we will follow this up as soon as they do send some details out.
Yeah. And Rebecca Jonesy says, wow, Amazon Books, that would be awesome. Yeah, it would be. I have reservations. Again, this is another one of those wait and see. Let's see how this balances, because, we tend to get screwed in these deals, as we're about to talk about. And so how are they going to screw us? I mean, the one thing I think the reason why Amazon didn't get into this business marketplace beforehand is because libraries demand a contract that is negotiated with a lower retail price on them. So for Amazon to lower their price and take it out of their end is a different business model than they're used to, right? So I think they've always shied away from that, simply because, hey, look, we are a library. Why can't you just buy buy a $10 library card at Amazon and read as many unlimited books as you want to, right? I mean, that's kind of how they sell it. So, and we get paid for those pages if we're a part of that unlimited idea. So how are they going to compensate us with the library? That remains to be seen. I mean, if they're marking down books to 99 cents that are usually $2.99 to sell to libraries, and they're only giving us 30% of that,
Devil's in the details, and we will find out as soon as they release them. And again, we will share that as soon as we know.
And this is a great point too, Anita. My white books are already in libraries, yes, and I think that's a great point too. I mean, we as indies have figured out a way to do it without any of
Not all of them, though, unfortunately, and that's where this becomes the biggest benefit. A lot of very new indie authors tend to go, Amazon's easy. I'm just going to do my print and ebooks with them, and they forget the other channels. This is a way for those people too to also have their books wide without having the, going to other sites to send their books out. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I talk to my clients about all the time is going wide. You need to find other ways to get your books out there, but it also means more work for you.
Yeah. And that's the other rub, is that Amazon will take a little bit of that workload off your shoulders, right? Rebecca, you're about to find out how more to get screwed. As we end our evening here on Late Night News with our favorite topic, the topic that will not go away, the topic that I think we'll be talking about for at least another 5 years, you and I, Katie, on this show. The wonderful dun 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 Audible Gate. So
I wish I had news for you, and that's the problem. We're going up against a behemoth, and that is not going to be a quick battle. It's going to be a long slog through the mud to get them to do anything. And Audible and ACX, which are both the Amazon companies, they are being very quiet right now. So behind the scenes, there is work being done. We told you about the FAIR group. I cannot say that group's name to save my life. The Fair Deal for Rights Holders group on Facebook is still one of the best sources to go to keep updated on the day-to-day information of what's going on. Susan May has been wonderful about picking all the information, putting it out there, and she was initially collecting all the emails for any of you who have been screwed, any of your correspondence with ACX. She was collecting those so that she can send them on up. Well, now the Alliance of Independent Authors, who is taking the biggest legal portion of it upon their shoulders, they're now going to be that central location. So Orna Ross has put out that if you want to be updated regularly through their newsletter, please sign up for the newsletter and they will keep you up to date on what's going on. Mm-hmm. They also have an email address for you to send any of those letters. If you've talked to ACX or requested anything from ACX, haven't heard anything or heard back just a canned response, send it her way. That way they can collect this for the legal battle that they are mounting. But until we know what's going on and until more details come out, we're just on a wait and see. And again, going up against a behemoth, we're not going to get any answers anytime quickly. It's going to be a slog through the mud, and it may just be little breadcrumbs here and there before we actually get either a big win or what have you. Hoping for a win, crossing fingers.
Both of the Facebook group and the newsletter sign up is in the description, as I mentioned before. I will say, not only are you going up against a behemoth, but a behemoth who's running the yes, we know we made a mistake playbook to the T. I mean, they are in the turtle phase of this plan, which is, yes, you get out in front of it, you put out a statement that really doesn't say anything or have anything to do with anything, or has a lot of more questions than it does answers. And then you get back in your shell and hide a bit and hope that just people forget about it. That's the whole goal here. They never want to get back out of their shell. They've put out what they believe is a tangible and a satisfactory enough in their mind statement that answers all the questions that people have, which doesn't answer any of them if you really read it. But they believe that that's what they've done. And so now they're in their shell and they're not going to come back out until something catastrophic happens and they have to recoil. So they're playing the playbook. It's what big companies do. It's how they do this, and they're doing it quite well. And so we we are going to make it a mission on this show. Like I said, we'll be talking about this for 5 years from now because I think we'll never let it go. And that's the goal. Don't let it go. Keep on it. Keep abreast of it. Keep knowing what you know. Go to Ally. Support what they're doing. Put your name on their newsletter. It's an important newsletter to hold because you're going to get information from it, and that information is only going to help you. Do not look at it as, oh, I got to put another newsletter in my inbox. Deal with it. It's just another email. All right, relax. It's good information.
That and the fact that they're collecting emails from us as well. So, like I said, if you've emailed ACX saying, hey, where's the data that I requested? I want my printout of sales versus returns in separate columns. Where is that? And they're not responding. You show them by sending that to the Alliance of Independent Authors. Hey, I sent this request. I got no reply. Or if you got the canned reply, so they can see what ACX is actually doing in communication back with you.
And that is our newscast for the month of January, our first one of 2021. I think all things considered, except for my little internet flub, I think we did pretty well for the second show.
We're gonna have to run a poll, and run get some bets going on when the Murphy's Law moment will happen in the show.
We'll run a contest eventually.
There you go.
Winner gets to sabotage the show. Keep whacking away on the shell. There you go. Absolutely. Thank you.
That's it. Yes.
And as always, I'm Joe Compton. Just GoIndieNow. We're in a little hiatus before our next slew of shows and seasons start, but February is coming around the corner, and we'll be back with another one of these in February, and also then that's when we really get started and going. I do know there is a show happening tomorrow night. Maybe Katie would like to talk a little bit about that real quick.
That's right. Spilling Ink is coming out of hiatus tomorrow, so we will be back for our first show of 2021 at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Got it. Yes.
I don't do good time zones.
7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, everybody. But go check out Spilling Ink. Obviously, GoIndieNow has a little bit to say about that, but I definitely think that's a great show to check out. Obviously, I wouldn't put my name behind it if I didn't, and it's awesome to be associated with that show and the people involved in it, my co-hosts especially. So thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you for watching the show. And like I said, go check out all the links to all the things that we talked about tonight. It's very important to keep the artistry and all the information flowing and keep it free flowing and let people know. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our show here and put it out there for more people to see. We really appreciate your efforts on that. That means a lot to us. With that being said, there's only one more thing to do, and I'm going to allow my esteemed co-host to do it one more time. So, Katie, you know what that means.
That's right. It's always time to go indie now.
And we will see you